To talk about goal setting, and this is inspired by a comment from Silent Snow. And the question is, I've been listening to Jim Rohn and Tony Robbins. What are your thoughts on their views on setting goals? Are they too intense? Are they balanced in your view? I grew up on Tony Robbins when I first got started as a teenager, Jim Rohn as well, he's an old school motivational speaker. And it really inspired me to set goals. I would set goals. I would take photos and post those photos of the car I'm going to drive, the check I'm going to have by the time I was 25. And I really was goal driven. That was my focus. I plan out my days. I plan out my habits, my week at a young age. And what I found now, this is my experience, and I'm also going to relate what I've experienced in coaching. I'm a life coach, been doing it for 13 years now, and I really have gotten an opportunity to see what works and what doesn't work, and what works for some people and what works for other people. Um, if you'd like a very affordable life coaching, my email is in the description. Consultation's absolutely free with no obligation. It's a 30-minute call. You could see if it's something that would work for you and take it from there. What I found when I was younger, I was, you could say, a little bit obsessed about setting goals just because I, I worked with, as a teenager, I worked with motivational like industry. I did my own seminars, and I was very driven to become the next Tony Robbins. He was the man, especially at the time when I first got involved in self development. And I even went to his seminar, went to the firewalk, did the firewalk, and this is what I've learned. There are motivational books, and this is the majority motivational books, YouTube videos, um, motivational teachers, self development teachers, even psychology, that want to impart a feel good. They want you to make you feel good, feel better about your life, more hopeful, optimistic. And you think, oh, what's wrong with that? Hear me out. That's not necessarily a bad thing, but what is the end goal that we have in mind when they're doing this? Because what I've experienced, it's more like I feel like they're cheerleaders. They're cheerleaders telling you you could accomplish all these things, giving you hope and optimism, and just kind of like charging you up. After the Tony Robbins seminar, I walked out. I was on fire. I was just like so focused, motivated. I'm going to accomplish this, that, and the other. And then slowly that high wears off and you start coming back to reality. You start coming back to your old habit patterns, your self and the challenges and struggles and just the grind and of day-to-day life. And so I noticed some of my clients struggle with this, even though I encourage them to try to get off of this treadmill. But they'll set goals, they'll set habits, they'll set things that they want to do, and they don't accomplish them. They're not consistent with them. They're not fully committed to them, and they are not a man or woman of their word. And to me, that is the most important thing about goal setting or habit setting. Are you going to stick to what you say you're going to do? Because when we set goals that we don't stick with, we lose trust in ourselves. We lose belief that we are actually going to follow through what we say we're going to do. And a big problem of that is a lot of clients that I work with also gobbled up a lot of the YouTube videos, the self-development, the wake up early, the grind it, the work hard, the go, work harder than anyone else and become famous, become successful, become an entrepreneur, make lots of money, all of those things. And when the goal is extrinsic, so in other words, you're doing the goal because you want to have $1 million by a certain age, or you're doing the goal because you want to show people, believe it or not, this is a common one, especially with social media. They want to show people, look how successful I am. Maybe they were bullied, or maybe they weren't in the popular group, and it's kind of like a sweet revenge. Look what I've accomplished. Look at the car I drive. Look at the house I have. Look at how many people adore me, how many subscribers I have, how many likes I have. And it's all shallow, hollow, and superficial. So when we're talking about goals, when I'm coaching someone, I want to get down to the core. I want to get down to what is it that they're driven to do. Because when you're driven to do something because you want it, because you're passionate about it, because you're excited about it, goals become less important. You can set some intermediate goals, smaller goals as a metric if you want. But I want to be accomplishing things, and I want my clients to be accomplishing things out of exuberance and joy. And it's like a magnetic pull instead of, okay, here's the goal, here's my New Year's resolutions, here's what I have to accomplish. Oh, I don't feel like going to the gym, or I don't feel like going back to school to get the degree, or I don't feel like studying, or I don't feel like working 10, 12 hours a day. And it just sucks the incentive and the drive out of us. And the other problem is you're setting yourself up for failure if we're setting goals that are not intrinsic, that are not realistic and achievable, because that's another problem. A lot of my clients, and I even in the past really struggled with this, is I would set the goal unrealistically high, and they shoot for the stars, and if you hit the moon, that's a success. But it's unrealistic, and when we're unrealistic we talked about in previous videos, we have optimism bias. We think we can accomplish more than we can. We have planning fallacy. Things take longer than the time that we have to complete them. We don't finish our to-do lists, and human beings are inherently lazy. We want the greatest reward with the least amount of effort. And with technology, it's even exacerbated it, made it much worse, because you can get that instant gratification and instant satisfaction just by going to your phone and turning on a screen. And so if you're a person that, to answer the question, the YouTube comment, if you're a person that has a history of success, that goals work for you, it keeps you motivated, it keeps you incentivized, you're able to hit your goals for the most part, and it's been a success, and you don't feel the pressure, the burden, or the weight of the goals that makes you associate the goal with something negative, by all means set goals. This is not one size fits all. It's saying that not everybody, nobody should set goals. And that's why I try to work, when I'm working with clients, it's just trying to get a feel of what their history is and what works and what hasn't worked for them, and then maybe trying a different approach. And so for me personally, my approach is I want to not focus so much on goals. I want to focus on what are my values, and create a lifestyle that supports those values and demonstrates those values in action. So for example, one of my values is inner calm, inner peace, serenity, tranquility. And there's supporting things that I have, supporting values that actually add to that, like minimalism, just keeping my life very simple as possible, not overcommitting to things, not having too many responsibilities, obligations, working for myself. Like all of these things help to support those value systems. And I'm not as, because of that, I'm not as dependent as goals. And because I'm not chasing worldly things like to be rich, to make millions of dollars, to be famous, to whatever, to increase my status in society, because my focus, and another value of mine, is have a strong spiritual core and to have a strong, solid spiritual foundation. And when we have that, we're less dependent on approval, people pleasing. We're less dependent on material things. We're less dependent on the worldliness. We don't get caught up in the circus and the drama of everyday life, and the gossip and all the stuff that's on the social media and the negative news. We just create a little bubble of peace that surrounds us, and we protect it. We set a boundary and we protect it, and it keeps us safe and more secure, and realizing that what we need to be content or happy or fulfilled is in here. It's not out there. Out there only reflects what's in here. And that's why you see so much superficiality in people, and so much focus on how they look, and the plastic surgeries and the skimpy dresses and clothes that people wear, and just the obsession on superficiality, the defensiveness when you're talking to someone and you say anything that might be slightly constructively critical, they get defensive because we're saying my self-worth is dependent on what the world reflects back to me. But that's not really what's happening. When you have a strong spiritual core that you develop through devotion, you carve out time during your day to devote towards that, you're just a lot more resilient. And the arrows, other people's barbs or harsh words, they bounce off of you more easily, and you're just not dependent on the world and the craziness and the chaos of the world. Now, we all have to live in the world, and we all have to experience it to some degree or another. But one of my values is to minimize it as much as I possibly can. And that's not a goal. I don't wake up and say, okay, I set a goal and I have to have this done by the end of the year. It's just part of who I am and what my value system is. I don't even set a health goal. It's just part of my lifestyle. So there's no pressure. There's no, I have to go walking today, or it's just something that is integrated with my personality and my being. And what I found when I've set goals, it feels like a pressure, like an obligation, and that repels me. And so I look at how can I shift this into making it and something that I want to do. And this is what I do with clients, is that resonate with this type of, if you want to call it just lifestyle or value system, is increasing the why, increasing the desire to do things that are going to lead you down the path that you want in life. And that's what's most important, is your value system. And a lot of our value system, a lot of people don't even know what their value system is, or they're living other people's values. And so when we get clarity on that and we realize what my value system is and what's that look like, what's the path that it's going to take me down. When I was younger, after I graduated high school, I was like, my value system, I want to explore the world. I want to travel. I want to have adventures. I want to experience different cultures, meet different people who don't think like me, who don't look like me. I want to travel. I want to do difficult things. I want to challenge myself and see who I am and discover who I am. And that really shaped me. Now, I'm not saying everyone has to do that. You can do that without even having to travel, just by doing challenging things. And that's one thing that's very valuable in coaching, is that if you're up for it, we do challenging things gently, but it really helps us grow and it makes life much more fulfilling. But we really discover what we want, and when we're not living other people's goals, because oftentimes the goals we set are coming from society, coming from parents, coming from peers, coming from social media, coming from advertisers. And then we can't understand why we're not hitting our goals. Now, on the flip side of it, if you are a person that likes setting goals, I would recommend finding creative ways to do the goals without feeling the resistance, finding creative ways to reduce the friction between the goal or habit that you want to accomplish. And just for example, me getting a dog, it automatically had solved my walking. I wanted to walk before I had a dog, and it was inconsistent with it. And then I got a dog, and like every day, it's really consistent with walking. So that's just one example. With some of my clients that struggle with screens, spending too much time on screens, I tell them, get out of the house. Just that lifestyle shift, getting out of the house, is going to have a huge impact on accomplishing the things you want. If you want to read books, just go to the library. If you want to be productive, if you are looking for a job and you want to send out your resume or CV, just get out of the house. Our mindset is much different. And that's a small tweak versus sitting at home and going, oh, I have to, send out 3 resumes today. I don't feel like doing it. Well, of course we don't feel like doing it, because home is for relaxation and rest and rejuvenation. And we have all our temptations there. We're surrounded by screens. Open the fridge, we can eat junk food, and there's the bed, there's the couch. It's kind of like the energy at home is not the same as if you go to a library or coffee shop. So that's another option. If you want to, let's say someone wants to learn to play the guitar, schedule lessons, and you have some social accountability. Get a coach, a life coach. You have some accountability there. Set up a performance that you're going to perform. This worked great with one of my clients who played the piano, and he just couldn't get himself to practice regularly, and so scheduled a live performance that he had to do 2 or 3 months, and he started practicing. So instead of saying, oh, here's my goal, I have to do this, I have to practice every day, now the why is much stronger. And that's what we want. That's what you enter in, that state of flow, instead of I should, I have to, I must. And it just feels really good. If you want to go to the gym, get a workout buddy. Makes a big difference. You want to eat healthier? Take a cooking class and learn how to prepare savory, healthy foods that you enjoy. Those are just a few of the options. Get a bicycle and commute to work. There's so many different options. Okay, but if you are a person that's goal driven, I like to look at it as more so on what habits are going to lead me to the goal. So not I'm going to accomplish X, Y, or Z by this date. What are the habits that are going to lead me? And that's the direction I tend to take clients. It's more about habits. And so, for example, one of my let's say a goal of mine is not to have any physical possession that I don't need or use. And so one of my habits is just to go through a section out of my house, 3 times a week. It might be a drawer. It might be one shelf on the closet, and just being a regular habit and review of how can I minimize my amount of possessions and it just gives me clarity of mind. Like when I'm decluttered, physical decluttered, it just feels so good. So that's one thing. But I never set a goal. I have to have X amount of possessions, or I have to complete it by this end date. Once a year, I generally do a thorough overview of all my possessions and sell or donate or get rid of anything that is not bringing me value or that I'm not utilizing. And that's just part of the lifestyle. But if other people, if you are more goal driven and that works for you, find someone to hold you accountable. And I have some clients like that. They want life coaching to hold them accountable for specific concrete goals. They want to lose a certain amount of weight by a specific time. And if that works for you, we will make it happen. And so there's a lot of options. But in summary, I would write down what your values are. Make sure they're your values and not society's values, or values that have come from external sources, unless they align with what you want in life. And then write down like your 3 action items that are most likely to lead you to that goal. So for example, for me, my 3 priorities, like whenever I'm going, okay, what should I do next? I write down a weekly plan. I think a weekly plan and a daily plan is very effective, but it's not necessarily a goal. But I'll ask my 3 main action items is simplifying not only just physical stuff, but like mental. How can I simplify my thoughts? How can I simplify my life? And then also my other one is education. How can I grow in my knowledge? How can I grow in my spirituality? How can I become a better coach? So that's one. And then the other one would be health. And how can I improve my health? How can I make better choices in the foods I eat and things like that? Exercising. And those are just like 3 things that are important to me that are going to be it's not like I'm going to reach the goal and then that's it. It's going to be with me for the rest of my life. And that just resonates with me much more. But, everyone's got to do what works for them. I know this was a long answer, but I didn't want to give just a quick response. Oh, yeah, goal setting is bad or goal setting is good. It really depends on the individual. And I do think a lot of the motivational speakers do more harm than good, because 1, of the chasing extrinsic things, and 2, the most important thing is be a man or woman of your word. If you say you're going to do something, do it. And if it's too challenging, break it down, make it easier. I like to set up goals, especially with new clients, make it so easy that you can't fail, or make it so easy you're going to succeed. And then be patient and gradually ramp it up. Okay, if you would like some coaching, it's in the description. Just send me an email. And if you'd like to support the channel, there's a PayPal link. And it means a lot to me, no matter the size of the donation. It really means a lot to me, and to support the channel. And if you like these types of videos, please like and subscribe and share and comment. Boy, that's a lot. That's a lot of stuff. Okay, maybe just do 1 or 2 of them if you wanted. All right. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.